Today we're looking at a very short article from ARK Invest debunking some of the lies, the misinformation and, well, straight up fake news you've heard in the media and from the press over the last 12 or so months regarding electric vehicles. Now I promise I haven't made any sneaky edits to this article or the wording, especially the first paragraph. So with that disclaimer out of the way, let's read. In the last 18 months, the fake news has featured electric vehicles as a dying technology. Low IQ hacks, whose LinkedIn profiles describe them as journalists, have described EVs at the end of the road, a dead end as they run out of power, and a massive disappointment. By the way, literal statements here. We can see screenshots, they did bring receipts. Some truly embarrassing articles and headlines from some truly embarrassing humans on some truly embarrassing outlets. I have to read these in full. End of the road for electric cars. Shocking chart reveals how EV sales have slumped around the world, with Volkswagen, the latest car maker, forced to close its factories as a result. And this one from the Crisis News Network. How EVs became such a massive disappointment. And then electric cars are a dead end. By the way, these are recent articles, right? This is April 24, this is February 24, this is October 24, and finally, is the move to electric cars running out of power? As usual, with disruptive innovation, the facts contradict the headlines. Well, I'm going to fact check ARK here. I think, as usual with reality, the facts contradict the fake news. It's not just on disruption. Everything you ever hear in the media seems to be wrong. According to the EV data reported for 2024, the technology on the road to demise is the internal combustion engine. Indeed, the market share of ICE vehicles has been dropping around 5 percentage points on average per year since 2019, as shown below. And that data is on screen now. Electric vehicles are in green, the dark navy, internal combustion. The trend is pretty clear here. ICE vehicle sales in decline. Electric vehicle sales growing. Trans electric vehicles, well, they'll be a flash in the pan, not moving the needle yet. But what's happening is a lot of companies who today are dependent on selling internal combustion engine vehicles to consumers to remain in business are tricking retarded consumers into thinking that buying a hybrid makes sense, which is just an internal combustion engine, identifying as an electric vehicle. And this will work over the short term. These companies can fool consumers into buying hybrids for a little while until they realize it just doesn't make sense. But they're going to go away. It's really worth focusing on the percent of battery electric vehicles being sold. We've seen close to a 10x occur in well under a decade. 2024, 13%. 2016, 17, if you're lucky, 1%. And you don't have to be a genius to figure out one more 10x and electric vehicles are 100% of the market. So what happened over the last, call it 7-8 years, give or take, that happens again. The transition, completely done. As battery electric vehicles and fake electric vehicles continue to gain traction and replace aging gas-powered cars, the imminent decline and eventual phase-out of ICE vehicles will become increasingly clear, even to low-IQ hacks who call themselves journalists. EV naysayers often argue that plug-in hybrid vehicles have gained share at the expense of battery electric vehicles. While it is true that trans EVs gained more relative share than battery electric vehicles in 2024, battery electric vehicles have grown at a faster overall pace over the past decade. Now, again, I've said it, I'll keep saying it. The reason for this flash in the pan around fake electric vehicles, aka hybrids, is because companies today who produce ICE vehicles are panicking and like, fuck, we can't produce EVs profitably. You know what we can do? With our $400 million annual advertising budget and our expertise in producing ICE vehicles, we can trick some dumbasses who are really loyal to our brand to buy our new hybrid, which is just an ICE vehicle and a little battery. That's what they're doing. This is a short-term strategy to rake in some temporary profits, and it will work for a period of time. But even a moron can understand, just from an engineering point of view, if there's no reason, no justification for a hybrid, e.g. you can produce a compelling electric vehicle that's affordable, has sufficient range, features and functionality, which you can, and they're getting much more affordable over time, ICE vehicles and hybrids are not, then the only other reason it would make sense for hybrids from a technological point of view is if somehow producing a hybrid was meaningfully cheaper than an electric vehicle and EV costs weren't declining, but neither of those things are true. From an engineering point of view, a hybrid has literally everything an ICE vehicle has because it is, in addition to a bunch of other shit necessary for it to temporarily operate on its piss tiny battery. Unnecessary complexity, unnecessary parts, unnecessary processes in manufacturing. A clusterfuck. When this washes out, make no mistake, you're not going to see hybrids or ICE vehicles, which are the same thing. They're gone. However, the companies who can't profitably produce electric vehicles are going to do everything they can to fool the public, fool the press, fool journalists, fool consumers into thinking that hybrids are here to stay and they make a lot of sense. According to our research, traditional automakers are featuring fake electric vehicles as an As an interim technology to close the gap between their ICE vehicles and the compelling battery electric vehicles, they have not been able to produce at affordable price points. I should have just shut up and read the article. Exactly. That said, both fake electric vehicles and electric vehicles are devouring the share of ICE vehicles, as shown below. And we see that on screen now. Now, it's interesting to see battery electric vehicle sales separated out here in green. Nice, beautiful curve here. And as we can see, 2017 electric vehicles were less than 1% of all vehicles sold. 7 years later, 13%. Another way to think about this, in 2020, EVs were 3% of all vehicles sold. They doubled from 2020 to 21. And then from 21 to 23, doubled again from 6 to 12%. The trend is clear. Traditional automakers are enjoying what we believe will be short-term gains from fake electric vehicles. Yeah, there we go. But are likely to face long-term peril as innovative rivals harness the declining cost curves associated with consumer electronic batteries to produce much less expensive battery electric vehicles. Game, set, match, arc. Spitting facts here. Exactly what I was saying. It's a flash in the pan. For now, it's a short-term strategy. They can milk profits. But long-term, because EV costs are massively declining predictably, and that's not true of ICE vehicles, which includes trans-ICE vehicles, aka hybrids, they're going to disappear. Commoditized robotaxi fleets could accelerate the demise of ICE vehicles. Interestingly, Chinese companies have reduced EV costs aggressively, offering a glimpse into the likely transition from ICE to battery electric vehicles in the developed world. Last year, the market share of battery electric vehicles and fake electric vehicles in China was around 25% and 19% respectively, pushing the share of ICE vehicles down more than 10 percentage points from 62% in 23 to 52%, well below the 72% market share of ICE globally. Excluding China, the market share of ICEs is still 80%, suggesting significant disruptive innovation to internal combustion engine vehicles in the years ahead. And here's the China data, market share by vehicle segment. And as we see here, ICE vehicle sales have absolutely collapsed. 2017, give or take roughly 100% of the market. 2024, roughly half the market. This is wild stuff to see. Tesla has announced plans to introduce a lower cost EV model this quarter, which could turbocharge, no pun intended, I'm sure, EV demand beyond China. In our view, battery electric vehicles are on course to deliver the most performant, lowest price transportation solutions in the world. While recent tariff developments have introduced fresh uncertainty into global trade, our long-term view for battery electric vehicles remains unchanged. By the way, I just wanted to go back to this China data. Does anyone remember, as recently as maybe in the last 6 or so months, companies, major automotive manufacturers saying out loud that they believe in 2035, so that's a decade from now, that no more than 1/3 of their vehicle sales will be battery electric and 1/3 will be internal combustion engine sales and the other third will be hybrids? And I assume the only reason they'd say that out loud is because they actually believe that. And if they believe that, man, they got another thing coming. Look what's happened in the last 10 years. And this was before electric vehicles hit the sweet spot for purchase price, but the costs are about to get there. And China, the world's largest, most mature and leading vehicle market, we've already seen ICE vehicle sales cut in half in well under a decade. This will accelerate as EV costs come down and ICE vehicle costs actually go up as they're produced in lower volumes, and the companies making them benefit from reversing economies of scale. ICE vehicle sales are going to fall off a fucking cliff. Next 5 years, we're going to see this collapse to basically nothing, at least in China. Rest of the world to follow shortly thereafter. And once again, I'm no math genius, but if electric vehicle sales double in China, that's 50%. Double again, where are we at? 100%. And for context, EV sales have more than doubled between 2021 and 2023, still trending higher. Now, you know what else is in free fall? Viewership and readership of the legacy media, automotive blogs, kind of people who are being told by all the very intelligent quote-unquote journalists that EVs are over, electric cars are a dead end. EV sales have slumped. By the way, so I just want to remind you guys, this was an October article, 2024, a headline of which claims that EV sales have slumped around the world. And the very beginning was end of the road for electric cars. On what planet do you need to be born or live or exist to try and make that argument when we can see here, in well under a decade, 10x increase in EV sales globally, China's leading the way? Are people really this dumb? Maybe these journalists are playing 400 IQ chess and actually saying ridiculous things just to get clicks and coverage. If that's the case, it's probably working. Am I the only one who's looking forward to watching the autonomous vehicle market share data in the coming years? Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs.